St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Gas Street, St. Lucia. Tune in on 95.9 FM or online at REV-UP Call the studio at 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. REV-UP St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Stand by for Doctor in the House. That's next with Dr. Leonard Surage, brought to you the compliments of La Place Salaison, Tapio Hospital, Jeannot Cooperative Credit Union, and St. Lucia Planned Parenthood.
The St. Lucia Planned Parenthood is now at number 9 Grass Street, Castries. The same team you know, just a new space. If you need advice, testing, or support with your health, we are here to help. We are also introducing our SRH Bridge Clinic at South Louis Community College, connecting students to care for healthier choices and brighter futures. At our main clinic, we now offer long-acting contraceptives through the support and specialized training provided under the UNFPA BBE project. You can walk in, call 452-4335, or WhatsApp 722-1234 for more information. St. Lucia Planned Parenthood Association, promoting a positive approach to sexuality.
Say hello to Jeannot Visa Debit Card. It's the convenient and secure way to access your money from your account at Jeannot. You can use your Jeannot Visa Debit Card in lots of ways and at millions of locations worldwide, in stores and online. You can use it to buy everyday things or withdraw from ATMs and make regular payments such as bills. It is easy to use. Simply tap and pay. Jeannot, we can move mountains for you. Powered by First National Bank.
At Tapio Hospital, caring and competent obstetric consultants will see you safely from prenatal care through delivery with a team of excellent pediatric and anesthetic support. Tapio Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
It's delicious.
La Place Salaison is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Place Salaison, of course. La Place Salaison, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
It's now time for Doctor in the House, live on REV-UP St. Lucia, hosted by Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening, listeners. And welcome to the program, Doctor in the House. Today, Tuesday, the 4th of August, 2026. And the Tuesdays come very quick, you know, right? Yeah. Today, we will continue on the subject of dementia, especially as it relates to our experience in the Caribbean. I have with me in studio Dr. Amy Paul, who had been here about 2 weeks ago and talking about dementia. Dr. Amy Paul, for those who have not heard, she is a St. Lucian and she is trained from the United States as a internal medicine doctor, subsequently subspecialized into geriatrics, which is the study of older people, and then has a special interest in dementia. And she has taken this interest in St. Lucia. I met her a few weeks ago. She was delivering a keynote address to the Medical and Dental Association in Beaufort. And I thought that after listening to what she had to say, it was clear that she has to share this knowledge and this experience with us in St. Lucia. And so she's here with us. I'm trying to squeeze the last bit of information from her before she leaves. So, Amy, welcome back here.
Thanks, Dr. Surage.
Okay. So, today I thought of discussing a particular article that Amy wrote, which was actually featured today. It came in on medical
Monday.
Medical Monday, right? And this article, I read it, and it was very insightful. I found that it is basically talking about the experience of a lady in the 60s who is taking care of somebody who has dementia. And the struggles, all the things we take for granted when people take care of people, have been elaborated there. And I found that this was one of the best topics we could have covered today. So welcome again, and tell me, what inspired you to have written that particular topic?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you very much, Andre.
Thank
Hello,
you
everyone.
for coming again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. So Medical Mondays, let me just give a little bit of backstory.
Sure.
It is the brainchild of Mary Miller and Ricky Brathwaite, who are they are a duo who teamed up. They provide some consultancy and health services for the Caribbean for many, many years.
Okay.
And they have decided to publish a magazine called Caribbean Currents. For example, the currents of the ocean, or what is current for us.
Okay, so it has
and
double
relevant
meaning.
for healthcare. Yeah, it has a double meaning. And the purpose of this publication is really to bring to light, folks like me who are in the background trying to figure out how can I be helpful to somebody at home, but don't necessarily have the conduit to do so. So they focus on things that are relevant for today, for the Caribbean. So we have been working on this article for months. I actually wrote it several months ago, so I had to reread it a little bit again.
Okay.
And my whole thing behind it was, we keep seeing the same thing over and over. Yes, there are millions of people who live with dementia, but there's somebody taking care of them. And historically, those are not people that we focus on.
Okay.
But when you look at the statistics, they either, the caregivers or the carers or care partners, as they are called sometimes, these are the people who fare the worst. So they have higher levels of stress. They have their diabetes is even worse control. Exactly.
Those who are in direct
care.
Communication with the patient.
Right. And I called it the invisible weight. They're carrying this big weight around that's stressing them even more. They're more at risk to develop dementia themselves. And even more worrisome, they sometimes are the ones who pass away even before the person living with dementia. So
the stress level can get so bad.
Well, they're stressed. They don't sleep well. They're giving all the time. They might not even be working anymore. So they sacrifice so much to the point where they are so neglected that their own health suffers. So at the time when I wrote that piece, I was dealing with a family where it was this exact situation.
Okay.
And I ended up going to the funeral of the daughter who was taking care of her mom. So it's always a very touching experience for me when I encounter families where they have somebody with dementia, but the inspiration, if that's the right word, behind that piece was the actual experience.
Because do you get the impression that this particular challenge or this particular weight is poorly recognized in our Caribbean setting?
So one of the things behind, and the word is in there, it's stoic, STOIC, especially Caribbean women. We expect Caribbean women to be strong, right? We all expect the woman, she's got it. Granny has got it, Mummy has got it, my wife has got it, without thinking, well, what is it that she's also carrying, which she's putting on the brave front, right? She's dressed in her colors, she's got her lipstick, she's done, she's getting it done, but how much is that eroding on her own health, right? Okay. So we don't do a good job at identifying when somebody is overburdened or overwhelmed with taking care of somebody else to the point where they actually need help or they need somebody else to step in. So we socialize our women. Our women are, we grow up knowing you just have to just carry on and just get it done.
Because taking care of your parents is something natural.
Exactly.
You're supposed to do it.
you're expected to do it
Yeah.
and not complain or not need help, right? Or you
Right.
might even find the gentleman step out of the picture and the daughters take up the load. That's the typical thing. So it's not something that we usually ask about, and it's very hard for people to ask for help. And even when they ask for help, who do you ask? Right? Do you ask another family member? Or like the woman in the piece, she is living in Canada, but she's taking care of her mom in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And the family does not live with the mom, but she's the one who's getting all the calls. She's responsible for the appointments. She's responsible for all the other things. But she has her job, she has her family, she has her kids, and she's torn. So the piece starts with her in her car, and she's crying because her mom does not recognize her. And she's in Canada, she doesn't know what to do. So she cries, she wipes her face, and she goes in and she finishes her day of work. As we
But she's
expect her to
carrying a
do.
lot of stress.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the stress is an invisible thing again.
It's an invisible
But
stress.
I think
yeah.
I would like you to talk a little bit about the stress, because when we think of stress, we may think of somebody who's busy, somebody who has many things to do, not much time, and but I think we miss the real importance of the stress, what these people go through.
Yeah, so stress is such a broad term, right?
Yeah.
Even my kids say, "Mommy, I'm stressed today," but this is a silent, chronic. It's there every single day, and if you have ever lived with somebody living with dementia, that looks like so many different things. Will they eat? Will they bathe today? Are they going to wake up at 2 a.m. and start walking around? Did they mess, some room up? Did they pee on the floor? How am I going to be able to feed them when I cannot trust them to be at home, right? How am I supposed to be able to take care of my kids and also take care of this other child that I did not give birth to? There's no daycare, there's no school, right? So it's this story, it's playing back all the time. You might be reaching out to the doctor for medicine or trying to get them to take the medicine because the blood pressure is high, but you don't know what to do because they won't take it, right?
Yeah.
You might even be thinking about, well, I have to go to take care of my own self at the doctor, but what if they fall down? What if they run away? Some people will set the stove on and set the house on fire, right? So this is the type of stress that I mean. It's there all the time with you. You can't necessarily do something about it. But it lives with you. It's not easy to just turn it on and off. So people think stress, I'm busy at work, these people are stressing me out. But you can leave work. You
That's
can do
right.
something else. But this is not something that you can walk away
It's stuck
from.
onto you, and unless you resolve it, it doesn't go away.
Right. And then you're grieving this person every single day. So every single day you lose a little bit more of that person you're taking care of. That also adds to stress. That feeling of stress that people have.
And so, but even among, say, if a parent have, say, 5-6 children, some of them would be carrying the brunt of it, and the others may not be around or may not be practical for them to help. So it must not be construed as 5 children, 5 set of supports, and so forth. Usually 1 or 2 would have been the main carrier of the burden, and however it is organized, usually the one that's on site.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes not on site. But that's usually the person who has to think about medical, financial, what's the community doing? This person is living alone. I know they have some land in Babonneau somewhere, but we don't have the papers. What if they pass away tomorrow? What do I do? And unfortunately, the family dynamics would have it that person now becomes the enemy, right? Because you're saying that mom cannot forget, but when I see her, she remembers me. So you're lying, or you're keeping mom locked away because you don't want us to have her money. So then you add, that's another layer of family dynamics that come into play all the time. It's very common to see that, and this is not just a St. Lucia thing.
Okay, and that's more so for those patients who already demented. They cannot sign something that is authentic. It will not be considered valid.
Correct.
They don't know what they're signing.
That's right.
So I think that part of that issue is to be able to recognize these conditions early and put your system in place to avoid all the misunderstanding and the trauma that can happen with having passed on your property to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can see the problem there. But what are the real challenges for people? Because we have many St. Lucians who are overseas studying, working, and having a job, cannot leave to come home. And they have the ailing parents who are getting demented. How do you see an answer to that, and what are the problems that they actually face?
Yeah, that's a good question with a bajillion answers. I think the first one, I'm going to reference something from the piece that I have, where the lady's name is Claudette, and if your name is Claudette, I'm not talking about you. Her name just happens to be Claudette.
So the fictitious name is
the
Claudette.
Fictitious name is Claudette. She's 52 years old. She's going through
53.
menopause.
63.
58, 52.
Oh, 52.
And she's facing her own set of brain changes, right? So she's dealing with her mom, and now she's recognizing that I'm forgetting a little bit too, or I feel a little bit slow.
Mm-hmm.
But she's never shared it with her doctor because she knows her doctor is not going to understand. My mom is in the Caribbean and have all these things going on, right? So one of the things that people struggle with when trying to care for somebody long distance is you may not have the community immediately around you that understands what that is like, who can provide some sort of support. Usually work, and I mean I can speak to my own experience working in the U.S. Work is not just going to give you time off to go home to come back. That's to check on your mom, right? You have your defined leave, and that's it. She's also taking care of her own children. So children, I had another layer.
She has a family.
She has her own family. She has two young boys, and her husband, who incidentally is also from the Caribbean. So he has his own family to take care of as well. So you're in a rigid structure for work, but you're trying to deal long distance with. I might be able to call the doctor when my mom is, but they may not be able to answer. There might not be a place to email them. How do I communicate with them without physically being there? That's one challenge. The next challenge is when I'm not there, her mom lives alone. When I am not here with my mom, who's going to do what I should be doing? When my family does not recognize the need, or they might be afraid, or they don't see a need. Or I know she's in a community where people will only take notice if she never comes out or if she wanders down the road, but not necessarily her day-to-day care. Another thing that's very common is I might hire a girl to come take care of her, and then I find out that this person only comes once a month, and they're not coming regularly because I'm not there to physically see them, check into my mom.
They can come, but they are on the cell phone all the time.
Exactly.
So you can't monitor that.
Yeah, and I may not have the technology to see that my mom is taking her medicine, right? Or if she goes to the doctor, they might not tell me that she's gone. I have no idea. So a lot of it has to do with communication, but also isolation when trying to provide something that's so personal as caregiving for somebody who doesn't remember very well. So
okay. And but in your dissertation, you mentioned what community can do, what society can do, because obviously there is not much in place for these. If you ask for support, say in our local setting, if you ask for support because you are stretched out and cannot deal with it, what happens? They will not institutionalize the person. You may end up getting an assistant in the house to help with domestic stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where it stops.
Yeah, correct. And that's all private.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to find the person, pay for the person, sometimes make sure they have a meal, make sure if they fall and they hurt themselves, they're covered as well. So my piece gives a couple of different options. I like that you mentioned the community because it requires us all to be a little bit less me all the time. You know, I remember growing up where, you know, we all knew that this person was at home and couldn't leave. So we're going to look out for this person.
Yeah.
And while I realized that a lot of life has changed in St. Lucia and everywhere else, you know, our population is moving to the point where we're going to have so many elderly people. We are going to be forced to be our neighbor's keeper, whether we like it or not.
How you think that's going to happen?
Yeah. Being our neighbor's keeper?
To have the increase in the number of elderly people.
Oh, it's just, you know, we're just going to have less younger people overall.
Yeah, because the younger ones might migrate for a better life.
Yes.
Or studying or whatever.
And one thing that I've noticed is there are lots and lots of abandoned buildings as well. Where I used to remember, I remember these neighbors where, you know, the younger people leave and they may not return, or they may not be able to return to take care of their loved ones' affairs. But, you know, if there is a system in place that says, let's say you're 80 years old and you've forgotten, you are entitled to being in a place at least from 9 to 5 or 9 to 3 where you can have care in a shared way.
So
you don't necessarily
drop you there in the morning and pick you up in the evening.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need one person to come to your house. It can be a group setting or we share the resources because you know they are limited. So that's one of the examples.
Okay. But let me ask Dr. Paul a question. Do you think going back to the question that Dr. Surage asked you concerning people living longer, right? Could that be as a result of modern medicine as well? That you have people with conditions, and because now there's medication now that can keep people going a lot longer, had it not been for this, for modern medicine. Does that play a role in having much more older folks living longer?
Yeah, it does. That's like a double-edged sword. So it does, because we're living longer, because now we know, oh, this person you're feeling like that because you have diabetes, so we're going to take care of it.
Right.
So people are living longer, but they're not necessarily living healthier, right? So whereas you might find before we had 180-year-olds and they're all spry, they're going to the market, they're taking care of themselves, you might have 280-year-olds who can barely move because they're obese, they have high blood pressure, their diabetes, they can't feel their feet, they might have lost a couple of toes. So that's kind of where we're moving now, where we call them chronic diseases. We're going to have so many, we already have so many people who are living with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart problems, high cholesterol. But they will live longer because the medicine is sustaining them for a longer time.
Right.
So, double-edged sword.
Yes, yes.
Right.
But let me ask you, like for example, Japan, I read that they have like thousands of people who are living past the age of 100. Do they have these issues that you're talking about that we have to face as families and so on? Do they have those issues, or they have such a powerful support system that they don't have to worry about, like families don't necessarily have to worry about this burden of caring for their loved ones?
That's such a good question. I like that question. So there's a place in Japan called Okinawa, and it's one of the blue zones. So I'm going back to this blue zone thing again.
Yeah, the blue zone.
Yeah. So these people live past 100 happily. No walkers, no canes, no shut-in. They're out there. They live in what we call a communal setting. So they share the garden. They are like the Spaniards, and they have their shared siesta, and then everybody meets for dinner. You know, it's very much we're living together. Our community is a shared experience. However, what has happened is that they have started adopting the Western style of life, where it's very what we call individualistic. So an individual, it's all me. I am living my life for me. I am not sharing how I live my life. They eat more of the packaged goods, so the chips, all of the packaged meats, and all those things. And they started noticing ultra-processed foods. They started noticing that now they are starting to have more diabetes, and now they're having more high blood pressure. Whereas before, those things were not, that was not a thing, even dementia. However, that is changing with the new generation, where they're noticing that they're having more of these diseases. So time will tell how long they live for.
Yeah.
But again, they're living longer, but they're not necessarily healthier.
So can you share with us a little? I'm sure our listeners and viewers are probably wondering, what is it that these people are doing that is, so many are living past the age of 100?
Yeah.
Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I can. So like I said, so they're living together. There's a level of spirituality that goes along with that.
What does that mean?
It means that I recognize that there's a higher purpose or a higher meaning to my life. And I'm not just here just to lime, right? I am here to fulfill something. So that for me, that purpose might be, I am going to my garden every day and I'm going to make sure I have enough lettuce and I'm going to share that with my neighbors. And that gives me joy. That gives me a reason to get out of bed. I'm not going to sit in bed all day and watch TV. It gives me a reason to be out and see others and be active. There are also people who exercise a lot, and I don't mean going to the gym. It's called exercising, moving naturally, right? So they're walking, they're carrying heavy things, they're walking around. Part of their terrain is very hilly. So they go up the hills, they come back down, they're gardening, they walk over there, they cycle, they're doing all sorts of things. They also eat very well. So there's a recognition that the way that we eat affects the way we age overall.
So you say they eat very well.
They eat very well.
What does it look
they're
like?
not. We spoke about alcohol before. That's off the table. They eat a lot of plants. So fermented plant foods. So a lot of tofu. Having a lot of class soup. They don't do a lot of the processed meat, barbecued meat, fried meat. The way they cook, they steam a lot. If you look at traditional Japanese food, they eat a lot of the sushi and things like that. A lot of rice. But it's how you cook the rice and what's the rice eaten with. A lot of seafood, seaweed, things like that. There are also people who, did I say exercise? I'm trying to count all of them.
Exercise.
And their environment facilitates that. So they're not trapped in neighborhoods where there are no sidewalks, there are no parks, there are places to go outside. And we have so many beautiful spaces to be outside in St. Lucia, right? They go outside, they walk around, they see their friends. So it's really like thinking about your life. Stress too. Thinking about your life in the whole thing and not just in a moment. I'm happy you mentioned stress, because you have good stress and you have bad stress.
Yeah.
So exercising stresses your body, and that's a good type of stress. But, worrying about all sorts of things, the stress of worrying about the traffic on the highway, for example, or thinking about money stress, or thinking about, emotional stress, relationship stress, a lot of those things. Everybody has those, but what matters is what do you do with that? So if you're already coming from a place of joy and thinking about my whole life, what is the purpose of me? Why am I here? I am, living to something greater. These people tend to handle that sort of stress in a different way. So those are the things that I mean.
Okay, Dr. Surage and Dr. Paul, we'll have to take a little break.
Okay.
And we'll come back for more of Doctor in the House, live with Dr. Leonard Surage on REV-UP St. Lucia. Doctor in the House brought to you the compliments of La Place Salazar, Tapio Hospital, Jeannot Cooperative Credit Union, and St. Lucia Planned Parenthood.
The St. Lucia Planned Parenthood is now at number 9 Grass Street, Castries. The same team you know, just a new space. If you need advice, testing, or support with your health, we are here to help. We are also introducing our SRH Bridge Clinic at South Louis Community College, connecting students to care for healthier choices and brighter futures. At our main clinic, we now offer long-acting contraceptives through the support and specialized training provided under the UNFPA BBE project. You can walk in, call 452-4335, or WhatsApp 722-1234 for more information. St. Lucia Planned Parenthood Association, promoting a positive approach to sexuality.
Say hello to Janu Visa Debit Card. It's the convenient and secure way to access your money from your account at Janu. You can use your Janu Visa Debit Card in lots of ways and at millions of locations worldwide, in stores and online. You can use it to buy everyday things or withdraw from ATMs and make regular payments such as bills. It is easy to use. Simply tap and pay.
Janu, we can move mountains for you.
Powered by First National Bank.
Tapio Hospital Radiology Department offers 24-hour service. We provide you with X-ray, CT scans, and ultrasound imaging using the most modern equipment that produces the best images for your medical attention. Call the Radiology Unit at 459-2201. Tapio Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
It's delicious.
La Plaza Salazar is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Plaza Salazar, of course. La Plaza Salazar, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort, and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
Welcome back to Doctor in the House, live on REV-UP St. Lucia, hosted by Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, is back to you.
Thank you once again, Andre, and listeners, thank you for being there. I wish at this point to invite you, if you have a question, if you want to make a contribution, or if you want to just share some of your experiences with us. You can call us on the fixed line at 572-9710 or a WhatsApp 287-0971. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, we'll continue our discussion.
Let me just give the numbers one more time,
Right.
Dr. Suraj. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Back to you, Dr. Suraj.
Yeah. From our discussion, it seems as though Caribbean women find themselves in a more taxing situation where just more is expected of them, and less recognition is given for the tremendous sacrifice that they make. It's just that you're just expected to take care of your old dad, your old mother, or whoever, and run your life and run everything, and run your own family and have your job. And so I think from what I'm reading from your thing is that there should be more consideration given in terms of legislation, in terms of systems in place to help with caring for these demented people, and also even be more ambitious and say to delay the effect, and I will not say to prevent it totally, but to reduce the incidence or the likelihood of getting it.
In fact, in addition to that, let me just add to what you're saying.
Yes.
How are senior citizens, like the ones we spoke about in Japan, how are they being cared for? Is it family members or the state steps in?
Yeah. So in that part of Japan, they're doing their own thing, really. They can take care of themselves, right? Because they're healthy, right? So that part of the world, people who are 100 years and older typically are healthy, right? So they can indeed take care of themselves.
Diseases, they don't have it.
Right.
Exactly.
So okay, I get
Exactly.
you.
So I might have a little bit of arthritis here and there, but overall my brain is sharp, my heart is healthy. I can still move around. I can still do what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. There are different models around the world, right? I will reference the U.S. model because that one's most invasive in terms of, everybody kind of wants to copy that.
Okay.
People become dependent on whatever funds and facilities are available for their state. It's not usual to see the family take on all the care and all the expense. The average family. If that happens, it's because, they have some wealth, they have something going on, or they have a bigger family and people want to do the job. Let's take on the NHS in the UK as well. That one is also mixed, but most times the government takes on the cost of taking care of those people.
Okay.
So they are having their own, look at, well, what is our system going to look like as their own population ages even more. So in the Caribbean, let's specifically St. Lucia, we don't have a specific sort of social support in that way yet. And most of it is really taken on by the families, provided they recognize that's what's happening to their loved
The
ones.
only thing
We're
I
sorry to
do-
disturb you, Dr. Surage. We have a call.
Oh.
And just use the headphones so we can take our first call for the evening. This is
Hello,
Doctor
good
in the
evening.
House, live on REV-UP St. Lucia.
Good evening.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening, Dr. Surage. Good evening, Dr. Paul.
Good evening.
Sir. Welcome.
Okay, thanks for accepting my call.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Dr. Paul, dementia, is it a disease, a sickness, or just part of old age?
That's a wonderful
I want
question.
to,
Not addressed to me, but a wonderful question.
yeah,
So
because I have a full, yeah.
Sure,
go ahead.
No, he has a follow-up
Yeah.
question after
Yeah,
you
I want,
respond.
and I want to, after response I have, yeah.
Okay, so dementia is not a part of getting older, right? So as we get older, we might be able to process, we call it slow processing. So you have to think a little harder to answer a question, but you can answer the question. But as we get older, we're not supposed to just forget, right? Now, dementia, there are many different types, and usually it happens that people will start forgetting because either they had a stroke or they have something called Alzheimer's disease, which is only one type of dementia. But there are different diseases that, cause people to forget.
So what is it that they're forgetting, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, so people might forget your name, but we classify it as dementia when people forget how to take care of themselves in their daily lives. So they forget that they're supposed to eat. They forget how to manage money. They forget that they're supposed to take medicine. They just forget that it's 2026. To them, their reality might be it's 1954 and I'm in a classroom and I'm teaching my children who are preparing for common entrance. And it doesn't matter what you say.
Okay.
That's just their reality.
So
Interesting.
this get you sick?
In what way?
And dementia, is it a sickness? We call it a disease get you sick. If you have a disease, for a long time it can get you sick. Huh?
Yeah. I see what you
Alright,
mean.
So,
Yeah, so it is because the mind is sick per se, or their mind is not able to tell them all of the information. People can get sick because they might fall down, or they might not take their medicine, or they might just, forget to sleep, or they might not sleep enough, and that causes them to have different things happen.
okay. And then the other one, like, for example, in cancer, we have stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. In dementia, you have the same thing?
You do, yeah.
That's a good question.
That is a
Can
great
you explain
question.
that?
Yeah.
Can you
So we have what we call pre-symptom. So pre-symptom now is you might be 40, 50, 60, and you feel fine, but your brain is changing quietly. Then we have the early stages where people might just, I just forget the words. They might not be able to tell you what they're trying to say. And then you get to the middle stages where that's when people forget to pay the bills, right? Or they forget which side of Jeremy Street should I drive on. They don't know what to do when you give them a washcloth and they're in the shower. And then you have the end stages now where people forget to walk. They forget
to walk.
Okay.
they forget how to walk. They forget walking is very complicated. To walk,
They
you have
actually
to be
forget
able.
how to walk?
Yeah.
Wow.
You have
So
to
they
be
just
able
stand
to
there.
hold yourself upright. You have to be able to move one foot in front of the other and swing your arms. Their brain is
Okay.
just, it doesn't have the connections that allow them to walk. And then people forget how to coordinate swallowing. So they start to, you might find somebody, you
That's
feed
what
them
stage
food
is
and
there.
they
That's
cough.
stage 5?
That is, I'm
Oh.
separating them into 4 stages for you. That's the
Oh,
end
okay,
stage.
okay.
So at the
Fourth
end,
stage.
The fourth stage,
So-
people forget.
She said, Dr. Paul, they forget how to swallow.
They forget how to swallow.
Oh.
So people start, you feed them and the food goes into their lungs because they might breathe in instead of swallowing. And then as you ask the question, can they get sick? They might end up with pneumonia because now there's food in a part of their body where it doesn't belong.
Wow.
And Doc, let me finish by telling you,
Tell me.
So when you reach at this stage, someone in the family reach that stage, I mean, the family cannot handle that, cannot handle this person when this person reach that stage 4 with dementia. Isn't it, on the authorities to take over there? You understand? Because if I have my mother or father in stage 4 dementia, and I'm not qualified, I cannot handle that. Isn't it on the part of the authorities to intervene, to take this person from me and put this person in a caregiver where this person can get treatment from somebody who is knowledge about this thing? Thank you very much. I'll listen.
Thank you for your questions.
Yeah,
Well
very
done.
good question. Yeah.
That is a good question. I think that, when we live in an island where our resources are not abundant and all over, we don't have doctors and nurses all over the place. Decisions are always made about what is the best use of what we have.
The limited resources we have.
Exactly. And it's like, when you do your budget, what is the most expensive thing that I must take care of? If I don't pay my rent, I'm going to be out in the street. But, I don't necessarily need the internet. What are the most overwhelming problems for the country right now may not necessarily be people in end stage of dementia. So that is a good question. I think, it really depends on all of us, because if you are out there taking care of somebody with dementia and you're struggling, you need to speak out. And, you need to let somebody know that this is happening. A lot of the times, most times your struggle is hidden. So it may not be recognized as something that does need somebody to legislate and step in and support you.
I think to some degree we do have some help, Dr. Surage, with the caregivers program.
Yeah,
Yes?
there is. I think
Yes, there is some
if
support.
You apply and they assess your means and come and do a site visit, and then they can offer you home help or some sort.
Yes. So there is some
There is
support.
something there.
There is some support.
Yeah.
But here's another problem.
Yeah.
Where the person with the dementia or Alzheimer's, they don't want to be somebody else to take care of them.
Yeah.
That's another problem. Because in fact, I was speaking with a friend of mine in England, and she was telling me her mom has dementia. Well, how did she explain it? It's like it's not full blown. Mild dementia, she said, right? And she was saying that the mother doesn't want anybody else but her to care for her.
Okay.
Now, we from the Caribbean, you know how we are about those things already. You feel guilty, right? You'll get a curse upon you if you don't do those things. Yeah, so it can really be challenging.
Yeah.
When the person now doesn't want somebody else to care for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets very spicy. But I think in that situation, it's important to realize what things can be done by somebody else. That does not necessarily mean they have to be involved with your friend's mom. So let's say she has to be in the house 6 hours of the day to at least cook for her, care for her, make sure she has what she needs. But somebody else can do the groceries. You see what I mean?
To lessen the stress.
Exactly. Somebody else can get the medications, or I can automate the bills. Nowadays, all the bills are online. So, these are the things that are interesting when you think about what can you take off your plate anyway.
Yes.
Even if she doesn't want somebody in the house with her.
You have another call.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Doctors in the house.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
I have a question. Can someone fake dementia? Because I asked this question because
That's
I have
a good
an
question.
uncle.
That's a good
I
one.
have an uncle who resided abroad, and he fell sick, so his sister decided to take him here. And before he left, he told his son that when he reaches here, he will pretend that he's sick. He doesn't know anything, and he cannot hear. And now he's taking a toll on my aunt, taking care of him. I try to help her as much as I can by going to Viewford for her, paying her bills for her. So I wonder, can someone fake dementia?
As a matter of fact, I've heard people say, not necessarily people who are members of the family. Maybe Dr. Surage, you've heard that. I see you smiling. Don't worry for her, she's just pretending. You hear those things. Yeah.
And sometimes he acts sick one time, and then after depends on who comes to visit. He speaks well, he eats well, and then but he I know that he's sick. He looks sick, but at the same time, there are some things that he does that it takes a toll on my aunt. So I want she's sick as well, and she's trying her best, but he's really I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just want to know if he's faking it. Can he fake it? Thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
There are certain things you can fake, and there are certain things you cannot fake. And you can decide you'll fake not hearing, but that can always be tested. You hear the things you want to hear, and when they catch you off guard, they'll find that you're actually hearing. And I suppose similarly, you can fake you forgot this or you forgot that, but in a quieter moment, somebody must pick up that your mind is not so bad as you think. Of course, and you may correct me on that, the symptoms of dementia fluctuates. It has its good times and not so good times. So the disease itself is not a constant thing. There's fluctuation in it.
Yeah, that's true. And so you find some people say that all the time. When I'm with my mom, she doesn't want to eat. The moment the nurse comes or somebody else comes, they eat the entire meal, the dessert, and half of my own plate. I've heard that several times. In fact, in my career, when I took care of people with dementia at home, I used to be the one who would do some of the jobs, because I know that if the family tries to do it, they're never going to accomplish it. It's never going to happen. They feel, because people living with dementia, they feel challenged. They feel like you're accusing them sometimes, and they can be very suspicious even of their own family, right? Okay. They might accuse you of stealing their money. And that's not necessarily they're pretending. Sometimes it can look like pretense, because I just saw you never want to eat, and now all of a sudden you're eating, so you must be lying to me. Not necessarily. So for the lady who called, I'm so sorry. I know your aunt it's a lot. It's a very heavy burden. But I would say that, he does need to be assessed. Somebody needs to look at him and really assess, when you say he is sick, what does that mean, before I say he's probably pretending. Because, it looks, especially depending on the type of dementia, people can look different. And you may not know that they do indeed have something wrong with their brain.
And what I wanted to ask you, it is true that if your parents had dementia, you may think that genetically you are more likely to have it. Even before you show any signs, what can you do to protect yourself against the dementia, so that even if your parents had it, you will conduct your life and your habits in such a way to minimize the chance of getting it?
Yeah, that is a great question. And it's really the foundation of my clinic, especially for women. One of the things that I found very interesting last month, there was the big international dementia conference. And one of the things the researchers from Africa presented was that, much of what we see in terms of genetics and, risk for memory loss was done on Caucasian populations. However, people who have their ancestry in Africa, like all of us in the room, most of us in St. Lucia, was that even if you had the genetic risk, the way you lived your life played an even greater role on your risk of having memory loss. And what I mean is that, are you exercising? Do you take care of your metabolism? Do you take care of the way your body processes sugar? How much you sleep? How heavy you are? Do you have a lot of fat in the middle of your belly? those are the things that really play into your risk for dementia. Are you controlling your blood pressure? Have you had a stroke? Those sorts of things, particularly for people who are from African descent. So even when you're in your 30s and your 40s, the way you live your life, your lifestyle, how much you brush your teeth, plays a role into your risk of forgetting later on, even if you might have the genes that run in your family.
And I've seen that genes being discussed, especially in longevity and things. They say that even if you have the gene, but your lifestyle, if you control your lifestyle properly, you can avert or prevent a lot of things from happening to you.
Yeah, that's true. So it's almost like, I'm trying to think of an easy way to say it, but your genes give your body the information, but your lifestyle is the environment around that information. So for example, you take a child who's in, Form 3, and that child is sitting there, they're extremely intelligent. But if the class is noisy and kids are fighting, there's no teacher, there's no discipline, that child will never learn. But if you take that same child and you put this child in a more controlled environment where they can exercise, their tummies are full, they're ready to learn, the class is quiet, the teacher is very careful in instructing, that child will excel. So it's a similar thing where you might have the genes, but when the way you eat, the way you work, even, do you believe in something higher than you? Are you living a purposeful, joyful life connected to others? That really changes the environment that your genes sit in, and it changes the risk of memory loss.
Okay. So that is very, very interesting part of it. But we have not mentioned sleep. And that is one of the issues that can actually affect your longevity. I heard you mention amyloids and things in the brain. There are chemicals that are depositing, proteins that are being deposited in the cells in your brain. And one of the ways it can be cleared off is by deep sleep in excess of 6-7 hours a night.
Correct.
And so I think a lot of importance has to be placed on sleep. And the diet, Mediterranean type diet, which is high in fruits, vegetables, and low in red meat and stuff like that.
Correct, yeah.
And highly processed foods. A list of things. In fact, that can be the subject of another discussion, because I intend to cover the blue zone at some point, just to give an idea of it. But this is just a synopsis to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dr. Surage. So sleep, I call sleep the fountain of youth. And it really is. And the reason I say that is because it's connected to everything. So everybody listening, try an experiment. Spend a week and do nothing. Don't exercise. And record how well you sleep. Then spend the next week and try to exercise in the morning. See as active as possible and record how you sleep. Right? Then you can move to diet. When I'm going to go to the market, I'm going to get as much fresh vegetables and fruits as I can. I'm going to eat those, get some coconut water if I can, a little bit of, passion fruit juice, one of my favorites, as I can. Don't have too much sugar, those sorts of things, and see how well you sleep. And do the same thing for the following week and eat as much of anything, alcohol, chips, whatever, and record how well you sleep. You can already get a picture of when will you sleep best and when do you feel best. And if you put sleep in the center of anything to do with the blue zones, your cholesterol, your diabetes, your blood pressure, how sharp you feel, how much can you relate to your spouse or anybody else in your family, sleeping is at the center of those. So sleeping is the time when our brains really turn on. During the day, our brains are collecting information. They just collect all this information, and at night, our brains process things. And my kids say when they dream a lot, it means they saw a lot. I saw a lot today, Mommy. I had lots of dreams. Similar thing, right? So your brain's process at night. You create your memories, right? You consolidate them, because a memory is not just, I see the REV-UP sign and that's what it looks like. Memories are things being connected to each other. Now, when you sleep, you create the connections. You clear out the trash, and some of that trash is the protein in the brain that makes the cells sticky, and it's almost like the highway, but you put things inside, the garbage inside, so the cars cannot just flow easily.
Okay. That's a very good example. Yeah.
So the moment you sleep, you clear out the highway, the connections are clean, all the blood flow, everything is restored, your memories are set, and everything is in tip-top shape. Now, one night of sleep disrupts that. Then you might say, I'll just sleep 5 hours. Or you don't sleep as well because you drank so much alcohol, your brain never had a chance to rest, right? That's another night. That's another hit.
And sleeping in a drunken state is not the same quality of sleep.
Absolutely.
As restful sleep.
We call it fragmented sleep. It's just a little piece of sleep. It's not real deep. You deep sleep. I slept and I woke up the next day. I feel so good. My mind feels so fresh. That's the type of sleep that we mean. And every night that you don't get that, you get more of that sticky, gummy stuff on the highways of your brain. And it's not that easy to clear out because, like I said, every single day, that stuff is there, needs to be cleared out. So sleeping is really the foundation for not just living a long time, not just a healthy life, but also making sure your brain can function as well as it can for as long as it can.
Okay. I'll give you one graphic example of the importance of sleep. Children, large adenoids, usually 3-4 year old big adenoids, they snore like mad, restless sleep, and then they come to see me, large tonsil, large adenoid. So you remove these. Afterwards, 6 months afterwards, the parents come to you and say, Doc, my child is growing so fast, and my child is so bright, and the child is so quiet when they're sleeping. Because now they don't have fragmented sleep anymore. They have high quality sleep, and they grow more while they are asleep.
That's right. Now, for my children, it was like the next day, right away. But I do have to say, another thing about sleep is, and even if you may not be what we call obese or overweight, a lot of people are sleeping and they have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Right? So you're snoring, you wake up, you stop breathing, all sorts of, your brain does not rest. You feel like you slept, but your brain does not rest. So you wake up and you're so tired and I'm so tired, but you just slept. Right? So that's another thing that affects your ability to remember. And that's one thing. As soon as you change that, people instantly start saying, wow, I feel so much brighter and fresher. That's another thing that can affect the way you age and the way your brain ages.
Good. And I think you're about to tell me
yes,
that.
I think so, Dr. Surage.
And listeners, I wish to thank you very much for participating in the program and asking your questions. Amy, is there any particular parting message you'd like to say to the general public?
Yeah.
Since I will not be seeing you for a little while.
Yeah, so I am very, very, very grateful for the time to just share with everyone. Maybe I can come back again next time I'm here. For those of you who are interested, I will be hosting a brain retreat this weekend from Friday into Monday. I will let Andre share the details with you. But one thing I do want to say to everyone is we have one brain, and you can't feel it, you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's really recording your life, and that shows up in how you age. So be careful. You only have one. So, and thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing all your experiences with us. It's a welcoming exercise, and hopefully when you return, we'll invite you here again.
Thank you.
And listeners, thank you very much for putting up with us and participating in the program. Next time, see you again.
Thank you, Dr. Paul, and thank you, as always, Dr. Surage, for your service.
No problem.
Thank you very much. You've been listening to and viewing Doctor in the House on REV-UP St. Lucia. every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. live with Dr. Leonard Surage, and the program is brought to you the compliments of La Place Salazar, Tapia Hospital, Jeannot Cooperative Credit Union, and St. Lucia Planned Parenthood.
The St. Lucia Planned Parenthood is now at number 9 Grass Street, Castries. The same team you know, just a new space. If you need advice, testing, or support with your health, we are here to help. We are also introducing our SRH Bridge Clinic at South Louis Community College, connecting students to care for healthier choices and brighter futures. At our main clinic, we now offer long-acting contraceptives through the support and specialized training provided under the UNFPA BBE project. You can walk in, call 452-4335, or WhatsApp 722-1234 for more information. St. Lucia Planned Parenthood Association, promoting a positive approach to sexuality.
Say hello to Jeannot Visa Debit Card. It's the convenient and secure way to access your money from your account at Jeannot. You can use your Jeannot Visa Debit Card in lots of ways and at millions of locations worldwide, in stores and online. You can use it to buy everyday things or withdraw from ATMs and make regular payments such as bills. It is easy to use. Simply tap and pay.
Jeannot, we can move mountains for you.
Powered by First National Bank.
At Tapia Hospital, we operate a 24-hour emergency service for all your urgent healthcare needs. Our qualified medical specialist will be on hand to ensure that you receive the best of care. Call us at 459-2617. Tapia Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
It's delicious.
La Place Salazar is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Place Salazar, of course. La Place Salazar, Castries, Groselet, Beaufort, and Surage.
It's delicious.
REV-UP St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Castries, St. Lucia. Tune in on 95.9 FM or online at REV-UPSLU.com. Call the studio